Okay, just quick update here, what I have built. This is kind of on the way to building the lab where we introduce VDRO into a recovery plan. But I've quite simply just built the first stage here where I'm testing the replication using ActiveDR. So the replication that's it's like CDP, near zero replication that's automatic between two arrays. So in this scenario, I have built a few test VMs in this lab that I found. I do have two servers for Veeam. One's going to be the primary Veeam server. That's right here, where I have actually defined both repositories. And the second is the VDRO server, dedicated for that, but has the volume for the secondary repository. So in Veeam, I have two repositories, as I mentioned. One is local to the Veeam server, where I'm writing the backups, and one is on the VDRO server. I have built it on the Pure array. I'll show in a minute. They are connected iSCSI up to these Windows boxes. The VMs themselves run in Fiber Channel. That doesn't matter. But basically, iSCSI into these two volumes. And if we look at that, this is what it looks like from a Pure perspective. So on Pure, we have these volumes. On this TME FA07, I have a Veeam repository volume. That's going to be the local one, if you will. And then on the second one, I have this other volume that I'm calling Veeam VDRO. And that's the one that's going to be attached to the VDRO server. So kind of trying to keep them straight. So two Pure arrays, volume on the Veeam side, volume on the VDRO or the VBR side, and then one on the VDRO side. The replication, there won't be any backup copy jobs here. It's basically just, as I mentioned, ActiveDR replication. Quite simply how that works. Volume on the VDRO side is linked to the volume on the Veeam side. This is the replica link here. Basically, it's called a pod construct. That's how we replicate them. So there's a local and a remote pod, and that replication is going that way. This, just mentioned, not going to do it in this test, but we can reverse that replication at any time. Meaning if I lost the primary array, I could bring the other one online, or promote it, as we say. And if I had to I started using it and writing new data to it, I could reverse that replication, say when I fix the primary array, and put all the changes back, right? So that never ends. And we'll even see while I test this, my replication still happens. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is not promoted. Just reverse that. All right, so what does that look like on the Veeam server? Just to kind of dig into it a little deeper. We have computer management here on the Veeam side. That is the folder where that volume is today. Got about five backup files here. If we look at disk management, you'll see the disk online here. And that's the local repository here. There's five backup files you see here now. That's true of this, right? Got about 5 backup files in here. I did do a sync earlier, so I have the same from the other side. I do want to note when I built the repositories, again, I'm attaching the secondary repository to the VDRO server. I defined both repositories here in Veeam, as I showed you, and the VBR server on the one side. When I did define the repository, I told it to import those backups. So that secondary replica, those backups sit as imported. But I can still do a restore direct to the original location. It sees vSphere, and it's no problem. I could even do that while that secondary one isn't even promoted. So the way that looks, if we go in here, this will be the secondary server, the VDRO server, again, still defined in the VBR server as a repository, but the disk is sitting, or the volume is sitting on this Windows box. If I just quickly do an offline online, because I demoted that one, you'll see it's in a read-only state. Again, I could still see, tell Veeam to rescan, pull from that data, and restore from it because it's pre-attached. Another great thing about ActiveDR is I've already got this volume attached and defined into Windows Server. I don't have to do anything during a failover except promote it to make it read-write again. So again, I could start doing restores today directly from that imported file. Like, let's say we wanted to do VM files. No issue, right? I can see and restore anything here. I could clone it, whatever I need to do. I have all that capability. Clone it on the other side, do testing on it. Really powerful, right? Because that's being replicated. The only thing is until I promote it, it won't be the updated changes. So we just ran a backup, right? Is that right? Let's make sure we're... Let's get another incremental in here just to kind of illustrate that. So running a backup, that's running on the primary server to that primary repository. I got 5 backups now. I have the same over here. And again, I can store from, spin those up, test them, right? All working as normal. Veeam is aware of it. I can, update on this side and rescan, but that data isn't going to change until I do the promotion process, which I'll illustrate after this backup runs. All right, now that that's complete, you can see in here, if I wanted to restore the VM, I have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 increments from the imported. The far side, I should not, but I could still see them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So they differ. 6 increments. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 increments here. I'll just double check that didn't come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I still have that point in time because that disk is in a read-only state. But let's say I needed to restore from that side. I lose the primary array. I need to get from that repository. Well, in the background, I haven't had to do anything. All that replication is happening. And if we go to the Pure array, we could check, these little bumps here. This is that replication. So that new increment picked up. As soon as it writes to that volume, Pure is immediately sending those changes across. So now what I could do is say, hey, I want that up-to-date one. I've lost the primary one. I need to restore from this one, or I just want to get it in sync, or I want to test it. So quite easily come in here, go to ActiveDR, find that demoted pod there. Until I want to promote. And now I could promote from another undo kind of file from the past if I wanted to. But I'm just going to ask it to pick the latest RPO. So the latest changes. You hit promote. Watch that happen. Promoting. While it's happening, I'll go ahead and offline this real quick. We see it as promoted now. Hit online. Expand that out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have all the updated increments. In this scenario, I still have the Veeam server. Just a simple test, right? So I'm going to go in here and just say rescan. That happening. So it's updated 1. Go there. Go to the imported. Say restore entire VM. And now I have all the points in time. And original location. Could do a new location, right? All the beauty of Veeam is there. I could do this in a test and scan it for AV, right? All the options are available. Next, finish. And we will have a full restore. See, it's already noticing the VMs. It's going to power off and delete. Go ahead and say yes and hit finish. And that's that. So I have replicated repositories from one server to another without the need of backup copies, just all done on the Pure platform, but still all the functionality of Veeam. Next steps, obviously, working this into VDRO. What does a Veeam server loss look like? How do I do that resiliency? Maybe make the Veeam server part of this ActiveDR process, use config files, which I actually already write into another repository that's replicating. So have some options there, but I just wanted to get a little update here on this simple test to show how this works. Thank you.